You check your bank balance.
And something doesn't make sense. You work hard.
You have a good job. You're not reckless with money, and yet, every month ends the same way. The paycheck comes in, bills get paid, a few normal purchases happen, and suddenly,
The balance is almost gone. The strange part is this. Many people in this situation are actually very smart. They understand complicated ideas.
they solve problems at work. They make good decisions in many areas of life. But when it comes to money,
Things still don't add up, and that raises an uncomfortable question. If smart people understand so much, why do so many of them still struggle financially?
somehow, intelligence alone doesn't seem to fix the
Problem. Because the real reason smart people stay broke has almost nothing to do with intelligence.it.
has everything to do with behavior. This realization usually begins with a simple moment. One day,
The duck notices something strange. Two co-workers earn roughly the same salary. They have similar jobs, similar education, similar lifestyles, but over time,
their financial lives begin to look very different. One coworker always seems stressed about money. Paychecks disappear quickly.
unexpected expenses feel overwhelming. Savings never seem to grow. The other co-worker lives quietly, nothing flashy.
No dramatic lifestyle upgrades, but somehow,
That person always seems calm about money. Savings grow slowly, opportunities appear. The difference isn't intelligence. The difference is small. Decisions repeated over time. Many people assume
money problems are caused by not earning enough, but often the real issue is
something more subtle, something
called lifestyle inflation. This is the quiet
process where spending grows as income grows. The moment income increases,
life upgrades begin. A slightly nicer apartment, a newer phone, more meals out, more subscriptions. None of these decisions seem extreme. Each one feels reasonable, each one feels deserved, but together, they slowly reshape a person's financial life without noticing it.
the cost of living expands, and suddenly the new high income doesn't feel like progress anymore. It just feels like the new normal. The duck remembers the first time earning a real paycheck. There was excitement, bills were manageable. There,
Was extra money left over? Saving seemed easy, but over time,
life became more comfortable, a better couch,
bigger TV, streaming services, food delivery, a few upgrades that made life feel
nicer. Each one seemed harmless, but
those harmless decisions quietly consumed the extra income, and eventually,
the financial pressure returned, not because of irresponsibility, but because comfort slowly became expensive. This is where intelligence can actually become a disadvantage. Smart
people are excellent at rationalizing decisions. When the duck
considers buying something expensive, the brain quickly produces logical reasons. This laptop will make work easier. This car is safer. This subscription helps me learn. On the surface,
these reasons sound logical, and
sometimes they are, but often the real decision happened before the explanation. The brain decided emotionally first, then
logic arrived afterward to justify it. Human brains are not
naturally designed for long-term financial thinking. They are designed for immediate survival. Thousands of years ago,
humans focused on food, shelter, and safety. Rewards today were far more important than rewards decades later. So the brain developed a powerful reward system. Whenever something pleasurable appears,
the brain releases dopamine, a small chemical
signal that encourages action. Dopamine doesn't
think about retirement accounts. It cares about
enjoyment right now. That is why buying
something new feels exciting. The brain sees a
reward and wants it immediately. Future
consequences feel distant and abstract. Modern life amplifies this
effect. Everything around us is
designed to trigger spending. Advertisements everywhere, online stores that deliver items in hours, credit cards that remove the feeling of spending real money. Buy now, pay later.
systems that spread payments into the future. The duck doesn't feel like money is disappearing. Instead, it feels like small, manageable decisions. A small monthly payment, a simple subscription, a quick purchase. Each
one seems harmless, but together they quietly reshape the paycheck.
This is how many intelligent people
Fall into what could be called silent spending, not dramatic purchases, not reckless behavior, just quiet habits. Subscriptions
accumulate. Convenience spending grows. Lifestyle
expectations increase. The paycheck is always fully used, and the duck begins to notice something strange. Income increases, but financial stress doesn't disappear. More money enters the account. But more money also leaves. To understand how powerful this effect is. Imagine something simple. Suppose someone spends about $25 per day on small conveniences, coffee, snacks, delivery fees, little impulse purchases. $25 feels tiny. It barely registers as spending, but over 1 month, that becomes about 750. Over 1 year, that becomes about 900, and over 10 years, that becomes $90,000. Not on luxury purchases, not
On extreme spending, just small daily conveniences. This
is the invisible force that shapes financial outcomes. The
duck begins to notice these patterns, not just in personal spending,
but everywhere. Friends upgrading cars after small raises, co-workers celebrating promotions with bigger apartments, people quietly expanding their lifestyles. At first it feels natural. Success should look like improvement, better things, better experiences. But over time, the duck starts asking a new question. What if progress doesn't always look like upgrading life? What if real progress looks like increasing freedom instead?
This question changes everything. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?"
The duck begins asking something else. What does this cost my future? That new gadget may cost $800 today, but if that $800 were invested and allowed to grow over time,
it might become several $1,000s. A daily spending habit might seem harmless, but repeated for years,
it becomes massive. The duck begins to see spending differently, not as isolated purchases, but as choices that shape the
future. Something interesting
happens when people make this mental shift. Spending becomes more intentional. The duck doesn't stop enjoying life. That would be miserable. But purchases become conscious decisions instead of emotional reactions. Some money is used for
enjoyment today, other money is used to build freedom.
Tomorrow, the balance becomes clearer. Another powerful force begins to fade as well. Social comparison. For a long time, the duck noticed what others were buying. New cars, fancy vacations, upgraded gadgets, and it created a subtle pressure. A
feeling of falling behind. But the duck slowly
realizes something important. Many
people who appear wealthy are simply spending
more. The visible signs of wealth are not always real wealth. Real wealth is quiet. It grows slowly, often invisible to others. Instead of chasing appearances, the duck begins focusing on options. Savings create options. Investments create options. Financial breathing room creates options. Suddenly, the goal is not looking successful. The goal becomes having choices, the ability to handle emergencies, the ability to change jobs, the ability to take
opportunities without panic. This
shift changes daily behavior. The duck sets up automatic savings. A
small amount moves into investments every month.
No dramatic effort required, just consistency. The system works quietly in the
background. Months pass, then years. At first the progress seems small, but
eventually something interesting appears. Momentum. Investments begin to grow on their own. Small contributions start compounding. The math behind this is surprisingly powerful. Imagine investing $400 per month. That's $4,800 per year. If those investments grow over time at a moderate rate, after 10 years, the account might reach around 70. After 20 years, it could grow to over 200. After 30 years, it could exceed $500,000. Not because of genius investment strategies, just consistent behavior and time. This is where smart people finally gain an advantage. Once they understand the system,
they can commit to it over time.
The duck notices something unexpected. Financial stress begins to fade. Not because income suddenly doubled, not because life became perfectly controlled, but because the direction changed. Money is no longer disappearing randomly. It is moving with purpose. Some money builds security, some money builds
opportunity, and some money
simply buys happiness today. Years later, the duck checks the bank balance.
Again, just like before, but the feeling is completely
different. The number isn't just a number. It represents progress. It represents discipline. It represents patience, and most importantly, it represents control. For the first time, Money feels like a tool instead of a constant source of stress.
This leads to one of the most important truths about personal finance. Smart people do not stay broke because they lack intelligence. They
stay broke because money is not an intelligence problem. Money is a behavior problem, a psychology problem, a patience problem. Once someone understands this, everything begins to change. The duck eventually realizes something powerful. The biggest financial advantage is not earning more. Money.it is controlling what happens after the money arrives. Small habits shape decades. Tiny decisions accumulate into massive outcomes, and
the people who quietly build wealth are rarely doing anything dramatic. They are simply repeating small, smart decisions
for a very long time. So the next time someone wonders why smart people stay broke, the answer is surprisingly simple. Intelligence solves problems, but wealth grows through habits, and once someone builds the right habits, even an ordinary duck can slowly build an extraordinary financial life.